Blacked out accents from factory is becoming a more common occurrence, especially in the SUV segment, signifying ruggedness and a little bit of sportiness as well. Think of the Hyundai Palisade Calligraphy Night Edition. Hey guys, welcome to Chris Mack. In this review, I have the 2025 Honda Pilot Black Edition, based on the Elite trim, fully loaded with that more rugged and blacked out sporty approach. How does it stack up against the competition? In this review, I'm going to show you guys all of its different features, take it on a drive, and give you guys my final verdict. But now, let's try out the remote start feature. We're going to unlock the doors, hold down the key fob, because this one actually has the option. Boom, now that's more like it. Now, let's go ahead, drum roll, get into this review. Looking outside of the 2025 Honda Pilot Black Edition, this is your key fob with lock, unlock, a remote start function, tailgate release, as well as a panic button with the Honda logo on the back. As equipped, this vehicle is $56,130, dressed in a Sonic Grey Pearl exterior for $455 on a black interior. Now this Black Edition is based on the Elite trim with all the blacked out accents, as well as some red touches on the inside, which I will talk about in 1 second. But looking at the front grille right here, which is blacked out, you have your Honda logo in the middle with your sensor for your adaptive cruise control technology, as well as your front view camera system up top. Black Edition is spelled out in the grille right here on this side. Looking at the lights, you have a full LED lighting setup right here with the LED turn signals up top, LED DRLs just below the headlights, as well as LED low and high beams in the middle. You'd also have LED fog lights further down below, which are very tiny but effective. Parking sensors up front. Coming over to the wheels, you have a 20-inch gloss black wheel wrapped in a 255 width all-season tire. Blacked out mirror caps right there with LED turn signals, as well as your side view camera system down below. And keyless entry for all 4 door handles. There are blacked out roof racks, as well as a panoramic sunroof, giving you an air feeling inside of the cabin. Overall vehicle length is 199.9 inches long from nose to tail, with 7.3 inches of ground clearance. Gas tank is over here on the driver's side. That right there is your window sticker. I'll put all information in the description below. Coming around to the rear of the Pilot, you can see they have a LED taillight setup right here for your rear brake lights, as well as halogen turn signals and reverse lights right here. You also have a dual exhaust tip setup under the rear bumper. This one is rated to tow 5,000 pounds in this all-wheel drive application right here. You can see with Blackout Edition back here, all the badging is blacked out, as well as Pilot, which is spelled out right here. To open the tailgates, you can use the kick sensor when the vehicle is off, or since it's on, you can use the power tailgate function. Shoot. Right now I do have it set for my frame at 5'6" to make it a little bit easier accessing that. But looking behind the third row seats, you'll find 18.6 cubic feet of space behind the third row. And when that's folded, that will expand to 48.5 cubic feet to the second row. And when that's folded, that will expand even more to 87 cubic feet behind the first row seats. Speaking of backseat accommodations right here, the third row is manual adjustable, so you basically pull the tab and push down to fold that back. You do have your tailgate release, as well as closed, and you also have a 12-volt charger right here. Right here is your jack to access the spare tire, which is down below under the rear bumper, and you have all your tools and stuff right here. Looking under here, you do have a little bit more storage, as well as a subwoofer for the 12-speaker Bose sound system, which I will show you guys in 1 second. To close the tailgate, you just push the button, and as stated before, it does also have the kick sensor as well. Now let me show you guys under the hood. Hood release is right here. Now popping the hood of the Pilot, you'll find a 3.5 liter V6 with VTEC technology, making 285 horsepower with 262 pound-foot of torque. It uses a 10-speed automatic transmission. As stated before, this is rated to tow 5,000 pounds. Curb weight is 4,660 pounds, getting 19 in the city, 25 on the highway, and 21 mpg combined in this all-wheel drive application right here. I have to say, sounded great in the flesh. Just looks so good. Get a 3/4 front shot for you guys right there. Boom. You see, of course, the blacked out fenders around the front as well as back, and the lower body portion right there. Now we're going to start out in the third row seats and check out the rear seat accommodations. As you can see before, keyless entry for all 4 door handles. Now to access the third row seats, you push this button right here, and it'll slide the seat forward and tilt forward to get you access back here. Now hopping into the back seats at 5'6", with the seat adjust for me right here, I have about 1.5 inches of legroom. As far as headroom goes, I have about 2.5 inches of headroom back here. Accommodations back here, you do have LED illumination up top with USB-C charging ports right here on both sides, air vents and cup holders right here. To get out, you just push the button and it'll slide forward and tilt forward as well. You can see a little bit of the red accents on the interior right there. Hopping into the second row seats right here. At 5'6", I have about 5 inches of legroom. As far as headroom goes, I have about 3.5, 4 inches of headroom back here. Speaking of accommodations in the second row seats, which I have to say is a little bit better than the third row seats, you have some LED illumination up top, manual sunshades as well, automatic window controls, as well as cup holders integrated into the door panel right here. You can see a little bit of the red accents, and you do have a 3-zone climate control back here with 3-stage heated outboard seats, as well as a single-zone climate control for the second row and 2-zone for the front. There's some charge ports right here for your household outlets and 2 USB-C ports right here. Funny enough, I was actually using that to charge my GoPro. Really just comes in clutch. You do have some more storage right here behind these seat backs. And to access the center console, you use this little tab right here. And try this one-handed, where you get 2 cup holders, so a pretty good size, and some storage in the middle right here. You basically pull the tab to put that back up. If you pull this tab and the tab down below right here, this will actually pull out this middle seat. Here's a quick look to the front cabin. You can see how airy the panoramic sunroof just gives you this airy feeling inside of this cabin. It's nice. But now let's hit the cockpit where all the action happens. Looking at the cockpit of the Pilot, at the door panels right here, you have your window and mirror controls right here. The mirrors are power folding right there with that button, and 2-person memory settings are right on this side. You do have some cup holders integrated into the door panels right here. Now looking at the seats, this is a 10-way power driver's seat right here with a power bottom, back, and a 2-way lumbar support, and a manual tilt telescoping steering column. The steering wheel is heated. The seats are heated and cooled for the first row with heated seats for the second row. Looking over here at the front dashboard, you do have your tailgate release as well as a windshield defrost, and traction control functions are right here. Hopping inside of the Pilot, which I have to say is definitely a nice place to be. This is your 3-spoke steering wheel with the heated function right here on the bottom. You do have all your telematic and media functions right here for your voice commands, volume controls, as well as your voice command functions right here. And on this side is for all of your driver assist technology with paddle shifters behind the wheel and light controls on that side with your wiper controls on this side. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But this is a 10.2-inch cluster right here. You can use this little rotary dial as well as this one right here. So these two to control this central cluster right here, which I will show you guys right now. So currently this is how I have it set up. With the media functions on the left and navigation on the right. I can toggle up and down between the various different modes for Bluetooth, radio, as well as phone settings and other stuff right there. We'll just go ahead and leave that on its CarPlay setting right there. Now if we use the other side, I can actually toggle all the other stuff for navigation, driving safety, the all-wheel drive displays, as well as the seat alert, maintenance, tire pressures, and so on. Also content displays, you can change from kilometers if you go to Canada for a road trip or something, brightness for the cluster, as well as the head-up display settings, which I will show you guys in 1 second, and the gauge cluster settings. So if I go through that and I go to gauge design, I can change between the round mode. I can also put it into a bar mode right there so you can see the animations and graphics of how the whole screen does change and adapt. I can put it into a round minimal as well as a bar minimal mode. But we'll just leave it on the classic round displays. We have your speedo and tack as traditional gauges. Look a little bit more at the head-up display up top, which is clear and crisp. This is a 4-inch head-up display. You have your speed as well as all drive assist technology. You can also pull up like your navigation and radio functions and so on. Looking over here at the infotainment, this is a 9-inch touchscreen. You do have wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. So I do want to start with a quick audio test with a 12-speaker Bose sound system. So let's try it out. I have to say though, in the mainstream segment, Bose always knocks it out of the park with the amount of sound quality and bass that you just get with the entire system. But going back to your home page right here, you have some shortcut buttons on the side for your home, back button if you make a mistake, your volume up and down, as well as track forward and back. You have all your various different functions right here for all your apps. You have your navigation, which is embedded. So let's try a quick navigation test. Now, as you can see, navigation is very quick and easy to pick up a navigation prompt with no problem at all. Going back using your back button right here or your home button, you can go to all your phone settings, radio connections, your Apple CarPlay is right here with this widget or app, Sirius XM, your trip computer right there so you can get like your latest MPG or your range. You have general settings right here so you can go for like your smartphone connections, displays, brightness, or you can change the sound settings for this 12-speaker sound system and so on. Some vehicle settings right here. Now what I really like about the vehicle settings is that it has like little clips of the pilot in action. So it's like a pilot key, pilot cluster. You can see the pilot headlights right there. So you get all the little features and stuff like that. It's the little details that really count. You have all your driver assist settings right here for your forward collision, head-up warning, active cruise control functions, lane departure, lane keeping assist, the blind spot, traffic sign recognition, and all the alerts and all that stuff right here. Head-up display and meter settings right here so you can change like the trip information for resetting MPGs. Also your MPH or kilometers. If you go to Canada, like I said, you go on a road trip, I can change over the kilometers on the fly. Driving position setup right there for like the driver alert. It'll like move the seat back for entry or exit of the vehicle. You have your keyless entry setup, as well as your lighting settings right here for like your light delays and so on. Door window settings. Power tailgate, you can actually like configure how high you want the tailgate to open. Right now it's set to like 3/4 mode, like all the way open, so it's not like all the way. It's only like 75% there. Maintenance information and so on. Going back to your home page, you have all the stuff right here for your Honda Link, which is like your base app where you can do like remote start and all the various different features. System updates, you have built-in Wi-Fi hotspot, USB connections, and so on. Swiping over here, you do have your smart shortcuts. So these are all the little shortcuts right here. You can actually change and configure which one you use or interact with the most. Display settings for brightness, as well as the cabin talk. So if I hit the button, it'll speak to the people in the third, be like, "Hey Timmy, sit down. I'm driving 80 on the highway. Get out of here." You know, you can say all that fun stuff. So it's this little stuff. Very family-oriented features for sure. But looking a little bit more down here, you do have your push button start, as well as a dual zone climate control. So you have 2 zones up front and a single zone out back in the third row seats. Heated and cooled front seats. This is how you can turn on and off your climate controls up and down and so on. You can also lock the rear seat climate control, as well as the different settings. You can actually sync it up with the front settings and turn it on and off right here. If your kids are like playing with it and stuff, you can lock all that. Looking further down below, you have some more storage right here with a USB-A port for connectivity and charging into the infotainment, as well as another USB-C port, which is for just charging only, and a 12-volt right here. Right now my phone is just chilling on the wireless charging pad, no problem at all. Now this right here is your gear shifter for you to go push for park, push back for reverse. We have a 360 camera with trajectory lines, as you can see that right there. I can also pull up under the 2 side view cameras. You have rear cross traffic alert. You can see you have a rear view right there, and it'll show you like where the tire alert and stuff is. Go down for neutral, drive, and sport trans, and you can basically push for park. Now speaking of 360 cameras, I want to show you guys on the end of the stalk right here, you have a shortcut camera button. So if I push the camera button, that'll pull up your front view camera, as well as the side view cameras off the mirrors. You can basically hit the button again. Let me show you guys that, yeah. Boom, there we go. So you can get like a full like side view right there, kind of like, you know, a rabbit or whatever. You can see off the sides, because it's like the same idea. You can basically just go back to the front view like that, and just push the end of the stalk to go back to regular mode. Looking a little bit more down here, you do have your various different drive modes, which I'll show you guys in the center console or cluster. So right now I have it set on a sport mode, which you can see all of the red accents. You can go to a normal mode. You have eco mode for max amount of fuel economy, snow mode for inclement weather, trail mode for off-roading, sand mode, let's say you want to, go to the sand dunes or whatever, and you also have a tow mode. Now keep in mind this is ready to tow 5,000 pounds. Now I do like the little animations and graphics that you do get when you do change the various different drive modes with the backgrounds. See that right there, you got the tree hugging for econ mode, and the red for sport. Now looking right here, you do have a auto start stop defeat as well as a hill descent function with the electronic parking brake and a auto hold function right here, and 2 cup holders for a pretty good size. Now looking in the center console, it does go down pretty deep. This is my hand like going down. It's about, I would probably say 8 inches, 8 inches, 9, yeah, 8 or 9 inches down. Man, I'm stumbling like crazy. But looking over here at the dashboard, you have a little bit more storage integrated right here with a glove box down below, which is a pretty good size. Looking up top, you have a auto dimming rearview mirror with a garage door opener right here and some LED illumination right there. You can also open and tilt open the panoramic sunroof, which I will show you guys that, as well as sunglass holders right there. So let me show you guys the panoramic sunroof in action. It really just gives it such an airy feeling, especially with this black interior. The black interior and the red accents really just makes this interior pop. But now let's go ahead and take the new Pilot Black Edition for a drive and see how it does in the real world. So let's go. We are behind the wheel of the 2025 Honda Pilot, so let's go. Now speaking of visibility out the front, rear, and sides, I can see very good over the hood, as well as out the side mirrors and even out the back. Visibility is also aided with this clear curve setup display with my speed limit in the area, as well as driver assist info and so on. Now first setting off right now, we are in its econ mode for maximum amount of fuel economy. You do have various different drive modes, which I mentioned in the walk-around, but the 10-speed automatic is very smooth shifting in every mode. Now speaking of seat comfort, is great. You do have heated and cooled seats for the front row, as well as heated seats for the second row and a heated steering wheel. Now the more comfortable entries include the Ford Explorer and the Hyundai Palisade calligraphy, which do offer a massage function, as well as a couple more adjustments. Now I do wish that it did have a digital rearview mirror to aid with the visibility even more of a vehicle like this size. Now speaking of technology, it's great. You do have this 10.2 inch cluster right here, which I can change and configure. Let me show you guys the various different modes as far as the themes that you can get. So I'll go under the gauge displays, I'll go to the design, and I'll put it into a square view right there. So you can see that right there, we have vertical gauges for your RPM as well as your speed on the right hand side for this bar view right here. So if you give it a little gas, it'll like go up. It's just cool. I personally like the rounded gauges right here, which have a more traditional view. But I like the level of customization you can actually get with this cluster. This is basically how I have it set up for my navigation and then my CarPlay or radio functions on the left-hand side. Now speaking of the infotainment, this is a 9-inch display. Now I was hoping that they incorporated the 12.3-inch display from the new Accord into this vehicle. Maybe if Honda does a facelift for this model in the coming years, maybe a year or two, I would assume. But wireless CarPlay and Android Auto all connect very quickly. Honda to me is the benchmark when it comes to connectivity for infotainments and stuff. You'd also have cabin talk, so you can talk to your kids from the back seats if they're all the way in the third row, so it amplify the sounds. And you just have all of the family-oriented stuff. You have plenty of charging ports, you have household outlets, you have the whole 9 yards. Let's go sport mode for a minute. And the beauty about this car is that naturally aspirated 3.5 liter V6 with VTEC technology, just revving all the way out. It sounds so good. Now it does amplify the sounds when you are in its sport mode versus normal mode and all other modes. Let's try a quick 0 to 60. Traction is off. Give it a yeah, that's definitely more than enough acceleration. Now keep in mind, this version is rated in its all-wheel drive configuration to tow about 5,000 pounds. There you go. Let's turn traction back on. You also do have paddle shifters behind the wheel to interact with the 10-speed automatic transmission. Now, speaking of ride quality, it's great. You do have McPherson struts up front with a multi-link suspension out back, and the ride is very smooth. Now, keep in mind, this one does have 20-inch black wheels, and it's great. I love the ride quality of this. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about what this black edition is. It's basically the elite trim with blacked out accents, and you have red accents on the interior. So, like, the accent lighting is red, and I mean, it's just the whole theme about this car. That VTEC crossover just sounds so good. We'll go back into normal mode, which is a nice middle ground between eco and sport mode. There we go. And the shifts with the 10-speed automatic are literally in the background. You really don't fear nothing at all. Now, if I was in a sporty car, I would say tunnel run, but now, I have to say that I'm glad this version does have the panoramic sunroof. It really just gives you more of a airy feeling in a black interior like this. Now, if you do want a lighter interior, I recommend going for the Elite or the Touring trim. We get like a gray, beige, and stuff like that. Also, too, speaking of technology, you do have embedded navigation, as well as the CarPlay and Android Auto, which I said were wireless a second ago. Now, I have to say the navigation just really comes in clutch if you're in an area where you have no reception to connect for your like Wi-Fi for your phone or whatever. You can literally have the embedded navigation right here and pick it up with no problem at all. Now, funny enough, the Toyota products, they have a subscription-based system for their navigation. So you have to pay a subscription just to get embedded navigation, which this vehicle does give you, which is a nice touch for sure. Sport mode eludes me. Alright, let's go back into normal mode. I'm having too much fun. That VTEC sound just sounds so good. Now, speaking of driver assist technology, before we hit the highway, it does have the full suite of Honda sensing driver assist. So you have automatic emergency braking, lane keeping assist, blind spot information, and if you guys saw the 360 camera in my walk around, the graphics is so clear and crisp. That's a sweet Mustang right there. I tell you, these cars are out today. I just saw a G80 M3 on my way up here, and then now this nice Mustang. I like them taillights though, that's nice. Man, I'm getting distracted from this review. One Easter egg I do also like with this, or all Honda products, is that you have like the little cluster inside right here, and it's 10.25-inch display right here. It'll actually show you like a little mini pilot when you put on like your turn signals, your brake lights and everything. It'll actually do the same little thing, which is crazy. Now that we're sitting on the highway, I'm gonna go ahead and throw on the adaptive cruise control setting right here. We'll just set that up. You can go all the way up to 4 following distances or all the way down to 1. I think 2 is the perfect middle ground. We'll leave it on 2 and we'll set our speed. It uses the sensor behind the Honda logo as well as the camera up top to follow the traffic in front of it. And I have to say, it definitely does a good job of that for sure. Now, you do also have lane keeping assist with steer assist, so if I veer over, It'll give you a little bit of a feedback or vibration in the steering wheel, and it'll pull you back into your lane. What I do like about the lane keeping assist is that it doesn't give you that ping pong effect, but it keeps you like dead straight in your lane. You see the blind spot on my left hand side right here in action with another fellow Honda driver. Yeah, the Accord. Speaking of Accord, man, I don't miss the V6 that they offered in the Accord. That's sad they got rid of that. Now, just sitting on the highway, the cabin is hush, quiet, and refined, as a near luxury car should be like this. Passing power is also pretty good as well. For a vehicle of this size, 4,600 pounds. Now keep in mind this is naturally aspirated or NA, so you really have to like kind of rev it out a bit more to get that acceleration, but it's way better than having a turbo 4 in a vehicle like this where you're just always in boost burning gas. So I'll take a big old naturally aspirated V6 versus a turbo 4. Or in this setting at least. I want to show you guys a little bit more of the passing power. All right, that's good enough. Now, as we get a little bit closer to the dealership, I won't get to the conclusion of what I think overall about this Pilot. Not to say it's probably, I would put it a little bit above average in the segment. I do like all the amenities that you get. The wireless CarPlay, which is literally, Honda literally benchmarked the wireless connectivity for the infotainment system. And I mean, you just get this all in this a reliable package right here. Oh, look, there's a Grand Wagoneer. Oh ho! Scat pack. All right. But yeah, I'm having a good time today. But I have to say though, I like the package of this Pilot. All you need to do is add a bigger screen and incorporate the digital rear mirror. And this is honestly a really competitive vehicle in the segment. I really am impressed with this car. The technology is great, all of the ergonomics, and this car just feels very well built in person. Like, you know, things that you expect to be rattling or like plasticky, like be low quality or whatever, everything's just nice to touch in this interior and rock solid. And I do also like the driver assist technology, as well as the 360 cameras, which I'm gonna show you guys once we hit this light before I end this video. Now, Honda is definitely on the innovative side of technology, and that's what I really appreciate about them. They're always pushing the boundaries and levels, and it's just the little details that count for this car and the little Easter eggs. You can see right here in the cluster where you had the little mini Pilot logo. Let me show you guys the 360 camera. Look how smooth the auto start stop system is. It's seamless. You literally put your foot back up and it just kicks on, no problem at all. So smooth. But let me show you guys the 360 camera right here with all of the graphics, as was the side view right there. So you can see turn by turn. But overall, I have to say though, I really appreciate this Pilot, just the amount of technology, the family-friendly whole vibe you get with this car. And you also have this more kind of aggressive, rugged, kind of mean-looking exterior with this black edition. And it really just sets this part, man, I'm getting tongue-tied over here. It really sets itself apart from a regular elite or touring version with all of the blacked out accents. And you got the red accent lighting right here, which really spruces up the cabin. I really like. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video here. This is Chris signing out, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.